17 members and associates of the Hells Angels are facing criminal charges in a violent attack.
Federal agents allege the outlaws sold drugs, traded firearms, and engaged in insurance fraud and even tampered with government witnesses.
We have learned there is cell phone video as well as surveillance video of evidence in this attack.
The U.S. Attorney characterized today's raids as historic, the largest federal bust on organized criminal gang activity.
Retaliation is common for crimes involving biker gangs. However, it could happen anywhere because of how interconnected gangs have become nationwide.
The 3-year investigation resulted in 42 federal indictments on a variety of charges, including racketeering, money laundering, drugs, gambling, insurance fraud, and extortion.
There's a bunch of bikers up here, and they're shooting guns and stuff. I need the police now.
Playing on foot going towards 2nd Street. Okay, receive.
Then you see a pack of Hells Angels going by, people are going to want to look. Next thing you know, cars. Because they're just staring at us and not paying attention to stop traffic.
If you wanted to break the law on an everyday norm, you should have joined the street gang. That's what they're known for. That's what they do. You're not allowed to steal cars on my block. We steal those cars.
I mean, it was so bad by us in Vegas. I was in the pool swimming, and the guys came back, "Hey, Pee-wee, the cops are here. They want to talk to you." I said, "Well, go talk to them. Find out what they want." And they came back, they go, "They want to talk to you."
Typically, if you leave the club, if you haven't been in for 10 years, you're automatically out back.
Got put out in 2006, back in 2007, wound up going into Chattin 2011. Came out of there, I had 4.5 years to walk off with zero support from that club.
Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today there's a lot going on. But we're going to talk about the Devil's Disciples, or no, the Sin City Disciples, my bad. And are they the most violent motorcycle club out there? I'll let you guys decide. But first, we're going to talk about the Liver King getting arrested for wanting to kill Joe Rogan. It's going to be a crazy ride, so buckle up. If you like the show, hit the like button, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, tell your mother's, brother's, sister's friend about Chatting with Staxx, the dopest content on YouTube. We're going to bring you guys the best show possible. Shout out to everyone that takes the time to watch this show. Lindsay, how are you? Thank you for joining me today. Joe Blunts, what's good? Rah-rah, how are you? Pink Panther, Jimmy Mack, Mountain Woman, how are you? Thank you guys all for joining me. I appreciate it. Happy Wednesday. It's Wednesday, right? Yeah, Wednesday. Shout out to everybody out there. So, Liver King, if you guys are aware of this guy, he is in a world of trouble. So he threatened to unalive Joe Rogan. And I think he is on a sick one, if you guys know what that means. He has been ranting left and right about different things. He's not making sense. He's like incoherent. He's like, oh, like he'll just go off on these tangents and it's like hard to even understand what he's talking about. But people are saying they think he is under the influence, and I believe that's probably the case. And I'll let you guys decide. I'm going to play a video and see what you guys think. But why was the Liver King arrested? And what's Joe Rogan got to do with this? Brian Johnson, the controversial fitness influencer known as Liver King, was arrested in Austin, Texas, Tuesday after posting a series of bizarre videos targeting podcast host Joe Rogan. So before we get started, this guy's trying to say that, like when he first came out, he tried to say that this was natural. All this was natural. Yeah, right. That he wasn't on those injectables. Definite lie. And then he came out and said he was. So he was caught from the beginning and lies. And Joe Rogan's the one that said, yeah, right. There's no way. I mean, people can't get this big and look this crazy natural. It just doesn't happen. Unless you're like some superhuman. And this guy ain't it. So Johnson, 47, was charged with misdemeanor of making a terrorist threat. And he was booked into the Travis County Jail around 8:30 p.m. According to online records, the arrest came shortly after he uploaded a string of erratic clips to social media in which he referred to being arrested and going to prison and even challenged Joe Rogan to a fight. So in these videos, he's saying, oh, I'm going to post videos all this week and then it's just going to stop. So he was like insinuating that he was going to go do something that would make him stop posting videos. Wearing a tactical vest, a hoodie, and sweatpants, Johnson appeared in one video pacing in the living room, muttering about his fate while meditation music played in the background. He was seen attempting to pocket a utility knife, something his cameraman advised against. Before two individuals entered the room, they showed a badge and they escorted him out. Johnson pleaded for 12 more minutes. Give me just 12 more minutes before being led away. And I'm surprised they even did that. Like he put his clock on his watch, put the timer on it and everything. In another clip, Johnson addressed in black ammo box label with Joe Rogan Experience logo on it, telling those around him that if he was arrested, that the box should be delivered to the mothership, Joe Rogan's comedy club in Austin. This stunt escalated with a group prayer and a hug involving his family. So his family's been around to witness all this. The arrest connection to Joe Rogan remains unclear. Rogan himself has not commented publicly. Rogan has never hosted Johnson on his podcast. He definitely talked about him, though. But he has previously criticized Johnson's alleged steroid use. In response, Johnson, dressed in a wolf pelt, posted multiple videos calling out Joe Rogan, saying, man to man, I'm picking a fight with you, declaring he's willing to die in the ring. And he was saying, oh, if you can break my arm, break something on me. He said, I will not tap, and all this other craziness. But we're going to watch a video, and you guys tell me what you think of this situation. So the first video is him ranting about things. And then the second video, it's all in one, is him getting arrested. So let's take a look at it. Hold on.
Or the day after, because I'm here all week. I don't know if you heard. Rogan versus Liver King, period. COM. All week this week. It started on Monday. It's going to go through at least Friday. It may go over the weekend, but no longer than that. I'm going to record a lot of videos this week. And then I'm not going to record any for a long time. That's what I'm fighting for. And my family. I don't know if I mentioned them. You have one of those. What would you do for them? Oh, but you're not doing this for them. It's unwinnable for both of us. I don't know what else I can do to surrender to you. But anything I can do to you, for you, through you. Booking it with love. Actually fight. Maybe with the minds. Let's do that one. Minds. Communicative. Me Lever King, me make fire. Ooh. Fire spread, damage is done, Fire warm, fire of utility.
This guy is not making any type of sense. He is like delusional. Look at his pupils. They're dilated like crazy. He's definitely under the influence of something. People are speculating that it's the devil's dandruff. Not that one, but the other one that's real bad.
Fire technology.
The Wayne Gretzky stuff.
Technology, fire to be shared. It's warm in the middle. Whatever I can do to change, to evolve.
Yes, he would, Chad. He
Never
would
change.
Destroy him.
Never change, actually. That's my anthem this week. I don't know if you've heard it, but you're going to hear it. Never change. That's the name of my anthem.
So he allegedly had a bunch of weapons. So I'm pretty sure they're probably legal weapons. But when you're going through a mental breakdown like this guy is, you shouldn't have weapons. Like, you heard him say, I'm going to go through you. And then he's just talking all this crazy nonsense. He straight out said, I'm gonna Joe Rogan. And then he shows up in Joe Rogan City in Austin in a hotel with his family talking all this nonsense. SNS, what's going on?
Song. It's on Spotify. It'll be on Spotify. If it's not on Spotify, it'll be on Spotify tomorrow. Never change. Never change. You're gonna hear it a lot. It's gonna be, someone's gonna put it probably in the profile or something, so you can click on it easily and never change. You could do that, Joe Rogan. But I know you're better than that. We all change. We grow. We evolve. We're better. Me, human person, no longer just make fire. Me, share fire warm. My queen's ready to go. She's yawning. My boys, Axe Mason, Girl, Tundra, they're ready to go. Normally, they don't have to do much. We just walk right over there. They're free. They're wild. Sacrifice. I want to do as much of that as I can. But I'm sacrificing my family because I brought all of them here again. I brought all of them again. You're doing it again for a cause outside of my family. That's a hard one to do that again.
So this is him getting arrested.
And these items
I wouldn't take that away.
I think he needs to be held on a mental evaluation or something. This guy's lost his mind.
Hey, okay, perfect.
Should we go separate or together? Okay, so what did they say?
They, listen, just take this with a grain of salt, but they assured me he's going to be in and out.
Yeah.
It's like, we got to process you, he'll bail out, but we're talking probably 24 hours.
24 hours?
Maybe first thing tomorrow when he sees the judge. I don't know.
Oh, so it's not an hour. He's going to be there 24 hours.
I don't know. They could do a 24-hour.
Take you this way to the lobby.
Thank you. And then do you know where their vehicle is? So.
Yes, it's just gonna, when you go out to the driveway.
Thank you for your discretion.
Slow ride, what's going on, man?
They said in and out, but to a cop, in and out could mean 24 hours.
Oh.
That's a nice backpack.
The driveway is.
So that means 24 hours.
I don't know, Miss Barbara. I'm saying that they could hold him for 24 hours. However, they said in and out, which means they could go there and then he comes back out. But I'm under the assumption he would need to see a judge before he is dismissed. Well, these guys are gone.
Why would you put his family through that? Pink Panther, what's going on? Heath, how are you?
Yeah. And these items are for you.
I won't take that away. Is that all? Yeah, you just,
No.
Liver King out of control. So what do you think's going to happen with the Liver King? The juiced up Liver King has lost his mind. You know, I heard that if you eat animal brains, like brains, it will drive you insane. But I don't think that's the case. I think he's taking different substances, and why he would drag his family through all this stuff is just wild. It's really wild. Shout out to the Pink Panther. We got some big things in the works. You guys will be real shocked when you see that stuff. So today, first we're going to go over this case real quick. The Hells Angel member who barricaded himself in the Hells Angel clubhouse was arrested. So, wanted suspect in custody after standoff at Hells Angels clubhouse. A standoff at the motorcycle gangs upstate clubhouse, and it was South Carolina. My apologies. I said North Carolina yesterday, but it's South Carolina. And don't kill the messenger. It says motorcycle gang. They're not a gang, they're a club. Standoff at the motorcycle gang's clubhouse has ended peacefully with suspects in custody. The Anderson County Sheriff's Office says a wanted suspect ran into the Hells Angels clubhouse in South McDuffie Street in Anderson on Monday. The suspect, identified as Benji Johnson, was wanted on warrants out of Minnesota. So I have looked that up, right? And he does have priors for like DUI and like petty things, stealing and stuff like that. It says K9 units and SWAT teams all responded to the scene. Johnson and a woman who was wanted on warrants from Anderson City Police Department eventually surrendered without incident. I wonder how many other people were in this clubhouse, because he brings the problem right to the clubhouse. Like, you got your own issues and you run into the clubhouse like they're going to protect you. And he's from Minnesota, so maybe he had warrants and it was hiding out over in South Carolina. Like, oh, they won't find me here. You know how it goes. But they found him, so they took him into custody, and he's waiting to be extradited back to Minnesota. And the woman was being held. They haven't released her name, but this is the clubhouse. I have a video I could play you guys, and then we'll get to the topic at hand, the Sin City Disciples. I don't think I have the video. Oh, wait, yeah, I do. Here it is.
A man wanted out of Minnesota was arrested in Anderson County. Deputies responded to South McDuffie Street after tracking down Benji Johnson,
what's going on?
Who was wanted for outstanding warrants out of Minnesota. When Johnson spotted law enforcement, officials say he ran into the Hells Angels clubhouse and refused to exit. Deputies say he eventually surrendered along with a woman who also has active warrants, but her warrants are active out of Anderson.
So South Carolina, Hells Angels haven't really been in the news lately. It's been kind of quiet, right, down there? Not anymore because of this guy. So now it puts a spotlight right on them. So what do you think the repercussions for this guy will be? Do you think he'll be booted out of the club for doing that? I want to know what your thoughts are. Put your comments down below. I want to hear what you got to say. Do you think he'll be kicked out of the club for running into the club and putting a spotlight on another charter that he's not even from? Keith, what's going on? How are you? Shout out to Bella. So, today we are talking about one of the most dangerous, allegedly, motorcycle clubs in the country. And there's a bunch of different things that have happened in the past. Luke, what's going on? Imagine hanging out at the clubhouse. Some dude on the other side of the country brings SWAT in to the barbecue. Yeah, can you imagine that? They're all just hanging out. No one's got a problem. They're just all chill. And then some dude from Minnesota, you don't even know him, right? He just comes running in. Yo, they're coming. Hide me. And then he just doesn't go out. He should have just surrendered himself instead of running into the clubhouse. He shouldn't have done that. I think it was a terrible look. But hey, what do I know? Just a reporter. So, these guys have a pretty long history with some different situations that have happened. A lot of members have been indicted over the years. So they were established in 1967 in Gary, Indiana. It's an outlaw motorcycle club. I believe it's a 1% club. It is a mixed race club. It's known as the Sin City Nation. They have a reputation for violence, extortion, narcotics distribution. Their motto is death before dishonor. So there's an article that came out in the Chicago Sun. Says court cases offer a look inside one of the most violent biker gangs in the country. Says for years, blockbuster case has been unfolding inside Northwest Indiana Courthouse, ripping leather and chrome off one of America's most violent biker gangs. The Sin City Disciples had thousands of members across the country, some connected to political figures and cops, prosecutors say, including Gary police chaplain, who admitted killing the son of a former Gary police chief, Kenneth Angel McGhee. So his brother allegedly started the club. McGhee's brother. The club's shot caller for decades was convicted of racketeering charges in 2023 in one of two criminal cases targeting 22 club members for murder, extortion, drug dealing, in Indiana, Illinois, Kentucky, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Tennessee. McGhee, 76 years old, is now locked up in Leavenworth, Kansas. Other club members have also gone to prison. More are awaiting trial or sentencing. McGhee was greedy, according to prosecutors. Say he siphoned funds from the members across the country to keep for himself. Besides his expensive Harley-Davidson motorcycles, he drove 2 Bentleys, and agents from the U.S. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives seized $300,000 in cash from his home in Indiana. In a raid in 2021, prosecutors say McGhee was ruthless, ordering beatings and shootings of friends and foes alike. Says, I will tell you, every gang case is different. During the 2021 court hearing in Hammond, Some are more focused on drug dealing, some on pure violence. This case was somewhat unusual in that it's sort of like a pyramid scheme, like a Ponzi scheme, with Mr. McGhee at the very top. He is, in short, the most culpable member of the gang. And this gang is one of the most violent biker gangs in the country, according to the transcript. The Sin City Disciples biker gang was founded by McGhee's brother in 1966 as an African-American motorcycle club. But since then, they have started accepting other races. Just like the gang that I was a part of back in the day, they used to just be a black prison gang. When they got out on the streets, they started intermingling with different people, and they started accepting all different races, white guys, Puerto Rican guys, but it was a predominantly black gang. So this is crazy. Listen to this. McGhee was in charge almost from the start. In a documentary film, he explained the incorrect spelling of disciples, saying he didn't want to use disciples out of respect for the Bible. His ego was huge, prosecutors say. At his home, he was raided by the ATF agents in 2021. They found a picture of him seated at the table of a replica of Leonardo da Vinci's painting of the Last Supper. And he's got respect for the Bible, but he did that. That's crazy. The Sin City Disciples consider themselves a 1% motorcycle club. So motorcycle clubs across the country, including the Hells Angels and the Chicago-based Outlaws, use the same tag as the 1% to set themselves apart from the rest of 99% of clubs or law-abiding citizens. Blah, 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 blah. These days, 1% clubs aren't in the news like they were decades ago. That's bullshit. They're in the news every day. But occasional violence and court cases still bring them back into the public eye at times, like this guy running into a motorcycle clubhouse for no apparent reason, just to draw attention to them. I mean, so do you think if he just got arrested on the side of the road, right? Would there be a big article about it, him running into the club? No, there wouldn't be. He would have just got arrested or would have been quiet, and that's it. He would have got extradited back to Minnesota. But nope. He had to run into the clubhouse, cause a big scene with the SWAT and everything else, so it got national attention, and here we are. So, I don't know. I think he's going to have some explaining to do. So, over the years, members, matter of fact, this past year, we'll talk about this. This past year, a bunch of members have been arrested, and here's one of the indictments here. Sin City Disciples members sentenced to 132 months in prison. This guy's name is Marvy Widowmaker, age 54, of Jacksonville, Indiana, was sentenced to United States District Court after pleading guilty to racketeering conspiracy announced by the U.S. State's Attorney. Gardner was sentenced to 132 months. I believe that is, almost 15 years, I think, somewhere around there. Someone do the math on that, 132 months. How many years is that? I think it's 15 or something like that. It's close to it. I know 70 months is like, or 90 months is like, not 10 years? 132. Followed by 2 years supervised release. According to the second indictment, Sin City Disciples originally formed 1967 in Gary, Indiana, outlaw motorcycle organization in which its members are associated engaged in violent acts, extortion, narcotics distribution in Northern District of Indiana and elsewhere. Gardner served as the national vice president of the entire club and was involved in the conspiracy to commit acts of racketeering activity between 2017 and 2020. As national vice president, Gardner was the third in command behind the founder of the club and the national president. His case was investigated by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, Chicago Police Department, and all these other things I'm not going to name. The case was prosecuted by the U.S. District Attorney. They didn't really name what exactly happened in the case, but so here's another member. Another member of the club was sentenced to 36 months in prison. This was January 31st, 2025. So it says yesterday, Brandon, his road name, Brandon Parks, or Baywatch, his name is, 46 years old, from Chicago, Illinois, was sentenced after being found guilty of racketeering conspiracy, followed by 18-day jury trial. Parks was sentenced to 36 months in prison. That's 3 years, and followed by 1 year supervised release. And then they say the same thing. Parks served as the national president of the entire club. So how did he get less time? I'm confused. Does it matter if you're in a lower position or a higher position? Or does that not matter? Does the guy at the top get the least time? Who knows? National president of the entire club and was involved in conspiracy to commit acts of racketeering between 2016 2018. As national president, Parks was second in command behind the founder of the club. And then here's the third one. Sin City Deciples member was sentenced to 204 months in prison. This is February 13th, 2025. Now, this is in Hammond, Indiana. Richard White, 57 years old, from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, was sentenced after being found guilty of racketeering conspiracy following an 18-day jury trial. He was sentenced to 204 months. How many years is that? Does anybody know? Followed by 2 years supervised release. According to the superseding indictment, Sin City Deciples originally formed between 2009 and 2021, the defendant conspired with other members of the Sin City Deciples to commit racketeering activity and acted as the club's national head enforcer. As part of that conspiracy, White committed multiple over and predicate acts, the most serious in which was attempted murder of a second victim, as well as beating and shooting of a Sin City member at the Gary Clubhouse. And then it names all the prosecution throughout it. Hey, what's going on? The W Number Podcast. 144 months is 12 years. So 204 months got to be what? Like 18 years or something? Hey, W Number Podcast. Finished the interview. Dropping part 1 tonight. There's 5 parts. And it came out really good, man. You're going to like it. Part 1's dropping tonight. I dropped some shorts. Make sure you guys check out the W Number Podcast. His interview is going to be dropping tonight at 10 p.m. Don't miss part 1 of the W Number Podcast. It's a pretty good interview. Tells me all kinds of crazy stories from being locked up, how he got there, and go subscribe to him. It's 17 years. So, and then he has 1 year supervised release. So he got 18 years, basically. So it says here, I believe they're probably one of the most dangerous, right? This gets a little more in depth. Federal investigators into the Sin City Disciples began in 2018. That was after ATF agents were alerted that one of the club's members threatened the chief of police department in a small northwest Indiana town, New Chicago, because of his motorcycle got towed. So he threatened the police chief. During the investigation, political figures, law enforcement officials, including Gary's mayor, were spotted at club events. After the ATF later testified, the agent didn't name the mayor. Two mayors have held office in Gary during the course of the investigation. Come on, you can't figure it out. It's pretty easy to figure out. According to the federal witness, McGhee told his club members that police officers were on the gang's payroll and that they didn't have to worry about law enforcement interfering with their criminal activities. In 2021, 16 reputed members of the Sin City Disciples, including McGhee and his inner circle, were indicted on racketeering charges. In 2023, the second RICO indictment named 6 more club members, most who had moved into leadership positions after McGhee was arrested, prosecutors say. They say McGhee had worked to pump up the club's membership, integrating the mostly black club with white and Hispanic members. The gang's bylaws says members must ride Harley Davidsons, so McGhee formed an offshoot called the Sin City Titans, men who ride Japanese motorcycles. McGhee also formed the Sin City Angels. That's a women's club who ride with the gang but aren't official members. He aggressively recruited support clubs who hung out with the gang. They weren't members either, but they still had to pay dues. At McGhee's trial in 2023, an ATF agent estimated that the club had about 2,000 members and chapters in almost every state. When members violated rules or did something that angered him, McGhee would have them beaten or shot. Prosecutors say each member was required to come in a yearly pig roast and to McGhee's birthday parties. He'd remind members that the gang wasn't a democracy, but a dictatorship. Plea for leniency. He said, I put toys for tots. I put on toys for tots. Last year, he was sentenced to 30 years in prison. But he had begged the judge for mercy, saying he attended college. He had been a probation officer and a special education teacher. He did charitable work. I put on toys for tots. I give back to the school's program for kids. I give them clothes. We give them uniforms, book bags. Every year, we give hundreds of bikes away to kids. If you find it in your heart, Judge, give me another chance. I would be a much better person, McGhee said, according to the transcripts at his sentencing. Unmoved, the prosecutor, respectfully, he said, respectfully, we just heard was an unrepented words of a lifelong criminal who used a motorcycle club for his own personal financial gain. To hammer home the most dangerous McGhee was, Toth pointed to testimony from a woman who said he forced her to have S with him at gunpoint for years. Another member, Bernard Pastor Smith, has admitted that he was a Gary police chaplain, and he killed 2 men, including the son of former Gary police chief. Smith was once the president of the club's Gary chapter and the national board of members, according to prosecutors. He is the chaplain for the Gary Police Department and sometimes passes police-related information to Sin City. Nozick said during a 2021 hearing, noting that a police uniform marked chaplain was found in Smith's home. In 2023, Smith admitted in court that he was guilty of the charges he faced. During the hearing, Smith said he dealt drugs, extorted money from other bike clubs, and killed 2 people, including Rodney Bone, the son of the late Charles Bone, who died in 1970 and Gary's first black police chief. Smith told the judge that Rodney Bone wanted to join the Disciples, but he got into an argument with a member in 2003 at the gang's clubhouse in Gary. Later that day, Bone fired a shotgun at a vehicle Smith was riding in, and Smith returned fire, killing him. Smith said in court. Smith also admitted that he fatally shot Eric Walker during a fight in Gary in 1995. After Walker cocked his gun and unsuccessfully tried to fire at Smith, according to the transcripts. But Smith withdrew his guilty plea last year and now faces trial. He couldn't be reached for comment. Another gang associate, Ronnie Major, was convicted of paying a club member $10,000 to kill a witness. Her name was Blair. The last name's Blair. Jacqueline Blair. In 2010 at the Coney Island restaurant in Gary, to keep her from testifying against him in a case in which he is charged with attempted murder. This guy's on a rampage. Prosecutors say Major has a tattoo of a woman in a grave and told the witness she represents Blair. Major is set to be sentenced June 30th. Obviously, damn, that's coming up. That's in 5 days. Obviously, gang murders are bad and drug murders are bad. But killing a witness, that's exactly what we're worried about, he said. 2 Chicago area men, Romo Allen and Tory Carter, are members who started a special unit in the club called the Misfits. Those missions were to travel with McGhee to protect him from his rivals that were out to get him, prosecutors say. Allen was the president of the Chicago chapter and became the leader of the national organization in 2021 indictment. According to prosecutors, the ATF raided Allen's home in 2023 and found a bag of crack cocaine, also ammunition, in which he legally shouldn't have had because he's a convicted felon, according to prosecutors who say he was a crack dealer. They also raided Carter's home in Dalton, where agents say they found guns, in which he was also barred because he was a felon too. Jose Armstead, a member of the gang's Kalamazoo, Michigan chapter, was second in command of the national organization after 2021 indictment, prosecutors say. He is accused of threatening a witness who were going to testify against McGhee and others. In a phone conversation, he told McGhee that he was trying to keep things together and was going to make 1,000 T-shirts to sell to raise money to help pay for McGhee's defense, prosecutors say. Allen and Carter face trial starting October 14th with 3 other reputed disciples. Lawyers for Major and Carter could not be reached for comment. And Allen and Armstead didn't respond for a request for comment. So this is a serious group of individuals So I think they were possibly one of the most violent at that time. But I mean, they got most of them off the street and they're doing like 30 years, right? So who knows? I mean, that's according to them. Gotta roll, bro. Keep grinding. Definitely, man. Keep grinding, bro. CL, what's going on? How are you? Ken, what's good? I got a couple videos to show you guys. So what are your thoughts on the Sin City Disciples? I don't think they're in every state, but here's another one. This guy was sentenced to life in prison. I don't know if he I don't think he was in the I don't think he was in that club. Here's this guy was sentenced to 180 months in prison. He was a Sin City Disciple member. Roger Lee Burton, 55, of Murrayville, Indiana, was sentenced in U.S. District Court after he pleaded guilty to racketeering conspiracy. Burton was sentenced to 180 months in prison, followed by 2 years supervised release. Burton served as national board member of the entire club and was described by informants as one of the top 3 leaders in the criminal organization. And then it lists all the agencies involved. So these people have informants that are telling on them. So do the Sin City boys and the outlaws get along? I have no clue. No clue. I know they have rivals because they were fighting with a lot of people. I'm not really sure. I'll do some research, though. Do you think it's possible for all these motorcycle clubs to get along? Let's see here. I think they did have some beef. I'm not sure though. Possibly. Long-time rivalry between both clubs. Sin City Titans, a support club for the largest Sin City Disciples in 2009. The Wheels of Soul declared open season on Sin City Titans. That same year, members of the Wheels of Soul allegedly shot and killed a Sin City Titans member in St. Louis, Missouri. So, I'm not sure about the Outlaws. They, the Wheels of Soul definitely had conflict with the Sin City Disciples. But I'm really not sure about the others. We're going to cover a bunch of different conflicts that have gone on over the years. And if you guys haven't seen, go check out Vice, where I am featured talking about the war between the pagans and the Hells Angels. It's got like almost 3 million views. A lot of people call me like, yo, I just seen you on TV. And shout out to everyone out there that's been showing me love and support. I really appreciate it. I've been working hard to get to where I am today, and I'm going to keep grinding and keep showing you guys that it's possible. It took a lot of work to get to where I am, but it's definitely worth it. It's not easy, but it's worth it. And you can do it too. You can change your whole life and have a whole different outlook on life like I do. All you got to do is put one foot in front of the other, believe in yourself, and just keep grinding. So here's another article that came out. A July hearing is set for motorcycle gang shooting suspect. Preliminary hearings are scheduled for the third suspect recently arrested in connection with the shooting that claimed the lives of two victims at a motorcycle club gathering in Forest Park. Court records, Marvin Judge, 51, has a preliminary hearing July 9th in Clayton County. According to Clayton County jail records, Judge was booked into jail June 13th and is charged with felony murder and participation in a criminal activity while associating with a criminal street gang. Judge had first appeared at the hearing on June 13th. Two other suspects, Donnell McKnight and Nigel Blackwood, were already in custody. McKnight was scheduled for a preliminary hearing, but it was continued to July 21st. Blackwood has a preliminary hearing on June 25th. And a bond hearing on June 27th, according to Clayton County Sheriff's Office and Forest Park Police Department. All three members are members of the Outcast motorcycle gang, it says. But they're calling the other club a club. So I think they're showing preferential treatment to one club and not the other. Maybe they're trying to demonize them or something. But I think, from what I hear, is that some of these people were shot and they were picked up at the hospital. So who's the victim? The people that got killed or the guys that got shot? Are they both victims? So they're calling one of them a gang and the other one a club. So I think they're giving preferential treatment to some and not others. I don't think that's right. On Sunday, April 27th, Forest Park responded to shots fired call to a business on 1st Street near Jones Street and Old Dixie Highway around 5 p.m. There was about 150 to 200 people at a gathering, Forest Park police chief said at a press conference. It is believed it's a territorial argument ensued. When police arrived, officers found two victims dead from gunshot wounds. On April 28th, there was a press conference. Victims were identified as Anthony Hearns, 39, and Isaac Mack, 25. That's sad. Both of them are really young. Both are members from Philadelphia based Wheels of Soul Motorcycle Club. McKnight and Blackwood were wounded in the incident and were treated at a local hospital. At a May press conference, they said that the Outcasts are known motorcycle gang in Georgia, while the Wheels of Soul is trying to establish their presence in the state. The Outcasts don't want to give up their territory, and that's kind of what led to this altercation, they said. I don't know. How can they speculate exactly what led to the altercation? Ghost Eagle, what's going on? How are you? SNS Contracting. So Loud, what's good? They seem to think that you are not authority. I think you did a great job with the content, of course. Other content creators don't think so. Hey, that's okay. Let them think what they want, man. I wish them nothing but the best. Path Killer, what's going on? Yeah, it all depends on what area in the country you're in, right? It really does. Because they could get along over here in this area, and then they go over there, and they're like, nah, they're at each other's throats. So it really depends on where you are in the country. Vinco, what's going on? How are you? hit that like button. All clubs won't get along. It will be cordial, but I don't think that there will ever be a truce for outlaw motorcycle clubs. Yeah, I think it's hard. I think it's hard because the country is so big and there's so much spread out and there's so much blood spilled over the years. It's kind of hard to mend that wound. You know what I'm saying? Some people are willing to let sleeping dogs lie, but other people are like, hell no. It's just how it is. So who knows? We'll see what happens. Summer just started, so I think it's going to be a bloody one this year. But anyway, shout out to Big Kaz from Head Knockers TV. I appreciate you. And I want to send a rest in peace to the outlaw that was killed in North Carolina, Venice. It's a very sad situation when people lose their lives over senseless violence. I hope you guys like this content. I'm going to keep bringing you the best content on YouTube. And I'm just getting started. So if you like this show, hit the like button, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. And if you don't like this show, too bad. Start your own fucking podcast. I appreciate all you guys. And remember, don't be a bitch.
And all new at 5, a major organized crime bust. 23 people under arrest now accused of stealing guns and cash.
Today, police revealed 4 organized crime groups are wreaking havoc.
From aggravated robbery to kidnapping, burglary, and more. Let's take a look at this. New pictures from court documents in this case. These are a few of the people who have been charged. And investigators say the money, tens of thousands of dollars, is all stolen.